Okay, I had some questions recently about my GP4L, which is a county com, a little shortwave radio, FM radio, AM radio, and LED light. So I've had this for quite a while, and I've been testing it occasionally when I go out into the hills or out into the desert, and it's kind of been hit or miss so far. So I wanted to give it a better evaluation, and I've had it on. Now I'm not sure how the YouTube thing works. If I turn this on, let me mess with the tuner a little bit so that I don't turn it on to an actual station. So I've just turned it to some static, but it does come in just fine in the AM channels, and the volume is good. I find it actually kind of handy to have the small radio available because I can turn it off quickly while I'm filming and then turn it back on to listen to the radio, compared to the one on the shelf there that I have to get up and click the button on and off every time. Anyway, so I've been enjoying it in the last couple of days as I've been doing video reviews and whatnot, but just got slobbered on by my dog over there. Sorry about that. So what I noticed though is that it fell off of this table that I've been doing some of the reviews on, and it can't be 3 foot off the concrete floor, but that 3 foot drop off the concrete floor was enough to blank out my screen here. So I figured I'd turn on the camera as I dig into the radio here to figure out just exactly what happened in there. So I'm pulling out these 2 screws off the back, standard little tiny Phillips screws. I guess I'll pull the batteries out, and seems to open right up. Now when it fell, I did notice that the case had opened a hair, and I just kind of popped it back into place, and then I noticed that the screen wasn't working. So I guess I need to pull out this last screw to get that antenna out. I was hoping I didn't need to. So I guess there's 3 screws holding this guy together. One on the bottom here, and I'll put these over here for the back. And I hope that's all the screws. Maybe I have to take the antenna actually out. The antenna screws out like they sometimes do, I think. Or else it's just spinning. I think it's just spinning, so I don't know what to do there. Oh, I guess I just have to pull a little harder. So now I'm pulling it out, and I see that there's wires connecting the speaker and I guess the antenna. So I can let that drop out a little bit and maybe let it hinge this way. And there's a little piece of glue or something keeping that wire taut. And I'm just looking to see if this is broken or worked its way free. And it looks like it's soldered straight onto the board, so I'm guessing that I probably got an irreplaceable damage done there, irreparable damage done there. And I don't see any shorts, anything obvious that caused that screen to go dead. And some kind of spring just fell out. I didn't have a pen here, so I don't know what this is. It's some sort of spring, which I'll have to figure out where that came from. This is getting to be annoying, so I'm going to just go ahead and bust this little speaker wire, how it's connected. I think I can do it without damaging it too bad. Maybe not. Probably already did more damage than I needed to. So nothing there obvious, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping to find a little loose something or another that I could repair. Definitely seems like there's a lot going on in a small package here. As I go to put these back together, these switches are just transferred over to these micro switches, so that's going to be something to keep in mind. Where did this spring come from now? The antenna is going to go back down like this. I don't know what would have been on a spring. Oh, probably, no, not the batteries. Can't really think what else might have that spring on it, so I guess I'm not going to put the spring back on. We'll see what kind of damage that causes. And I guess I have to line this up and then line this guy up as I put everything back together here. I missed that one. I think I caught it that time. Caught that one. Missed that one again. Looks like if you miss this switch, you hit this LED light, so that's real fun. I'm hitting the top one, no problem, and that might get me to the bottom one. I got the bottom one, I got the top one. It all clamped back in together pretty good, minus that spring. Don't tell County Com that I dropped that spring out of there. And then we'll put this screw back in. And I won't even bother. I'm just going to put this screw back in because that one might make a difference. Alright, and then shove these batteries back in. What's nice is the circuit board has an imprint of which ways the batteries go in, so no question about it, it's always going to be there, right, visible. You push the batteries in and the battery compartment thing sort of slides in. Fairly decent quality, strong. I like that part about it. Looks like I didn't break the light, it still works. And now let's try going to radio. That's good. Now let's see. The tuning LED seems to work fine. I'll turn it down. The tuning LED seems to work when I tune it into a channel, but I'm still missing the screen. And of course that can make this a very more difficult to use radio for sure. Sort of a hit or miss where you're actually going to catch a station. I must have it on FM right now, so I'm going to switch that down to AM. And nice strong signal, no problems. I just lost my screen. So looks like you don't want to let these things take a 3-foot dive onto concrete. While they'll live through it, they won't live through it perfectly. Obviously, you know, everything can be different every time you do something like that. There is some random spring inside, so it's not something I'd recommend taking apart. Let me be the one to have broke mine so that you don't have to break yours. And now I'm going to flip it down to these S shortwave bands. And aside from not having any kind of way to see what I'm tuning to, I think it's still going to be an effective radio. Not sold on the shortwave part of it, and I guess it's kind of expensive for an AM/FM radio. But assuming the alarm clock still worked and the little LED works, it is a little handy handy radio to carry in a travel kit. You know, I might be turning this knob too fast. I don't know how much shortwave radio traffic there is out there. Of course, in an emergency, I think there'd be a lot more. I think there's a chance that I'm just turning this dial too fast. From my experience in the old days using the shortwave radios, you know, a lot of it was just tuning it. Find something here. I have no idea what channel it is though. Anyway, so that's the County Com radio. I still think it's probably a good deal. I probably shouldn't have thrown it off the edge of the counter here, directly at the concrete, but you know, things happen. So it's still something I'll probably try getting a second one and giving it through its paces. I haven't found a cheaper shortwave radio yet, and I still see good reviews on these, so I'm going to give it another chance. Perhaps the next one I'll put in some sort of a rubber armor type of chassis, you know, something, maybe even just a few rubber bands around it to give it a little bit of protection, and hopefully I'll never figure out where this spring came from, and hopefully it won't be a big issue. So that's the County Com GP4L shortwave radio.
No credit check, so you won't be turned down. If you have a